If you haven't already watched my 10-point guideline on developing assertiveness in Asian businesses, make sure to check that video out also. In this video, I'm going to explain some important nuances about point number 1. The only reliable motivation is the desire to overcome fear. Specifically, the fear of speaking up when the issue actually feels important to that person. Here's a very important nuance. Although every person is motivated to master their fears, it's very hard to help someone overcome their fears without them becoming dependent on you. To ensure that development transfers back into the real world, here's a brief list of training techniques that actually work with passive members from collectivist cultures. Notice how these techniques are the opposite of traditional good facilitation techniques. Number 1, don't call on people to speak. Either wait in silence for people to voluntarily speak up, or make a general call to the group to whoever wants to speak. When people choose on their own to speak up, they overcome a very important internal emotional barrier. Number 2, don't let the groups take turns speaking. Refer them back to the one course guideline, which is everyone chooses their own timing to speak. Taking turns in order eliminates the opportunity to overcome the fear of choosing your own timing to speak. Number 3, don't help someone who obviously wants to speak but hasn't opened their mouth yet. Let them face that critical challenge on their own. If you really want to help, you can point out that they clearly wanted to speak but blocked themselves. Then ask what caused them to hesitate. Number 4, this one is going to sound a bit strange at first. Don't praise people for successfully speaking up. Passive people are highly sensitive to praise and punishment. The aim is for them to become more self-determining, not more motivated to receive praise and to avoid punishment. If you really want to help someone who just spoke up, ask them a question instead. How did you overcome your fear to say what was actually on your mind? And finally, number 5, don't provide a detailed training agenda. Explain to the group that the only time it's necessary to say what you're thinking quickly is when something unexpected happens in business. So, in training, the group will have to handle unexpected projects together, followed by a team dialogue about what fears caused them to not say what was actually on their mind during the project. You probably noticed a theme to these techniques. To effectively work with a passive group from a collectivist cultural background, the trainer often has to stop many of their helpful habits. Helping sounds good, but in many cases, helping passive people speak causes them to become even more dependent on others. Finally, there's a very easy way to evaluate yourself as a trainer. When the participants don't seem to need the trainer's approval as much, it's a clear sign that the assertive training is working.